Every 7 seconds, a child is bullied. Our sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, and friends. Now, 2 Works for You Against Bullying, a special program presented by Bob Hurley Ford.
Bullying. It's a growing problem, and Green Country's no exception. There are thousands of reports of bullying in Tulsa each year alone, and there have been cases of kids taking their own lives. The fall semester of school is wrapping up, and as you talk with your kids about school and grades, you may also want to talk about bullying. Tonight, we're taking some time to look at the issue. We examine how big the problem is. We take a look at the effects of bullying, what's being done to prevent it. We'll also take a look at laws that may come into play. Also, we have a phone bank up and running with experts who can answer questions and give immediate help to those in need. That number, 918-748-1432. We begin tonight with bullying in the Heartland. The family of 11-year-old Ty Smalley says bullying cost them their son's life. 2 News anchor Brianne Palmerini tells us their story.
He's been gone for 929 days now.
Ty Smalley was just 11 years old on that fateful day in May of 2010, the day he took his own life.
He would have been 14 now. He's not going to get his driver's license. He doesn't go to the prom. Not going to get married.
Ty's father, Kirk, says before it happened, Ty had been bullied for several years by a group of boys at his school in Perkins.
You know, he'd get called names, he'd get pushed around, he got shoved into lockers, crammed into trash cans.
That day, Ty fought back.
Ty just had enough. He retaliated, and you know, it's always the second guy that gets caught.
Ty was suspended and sent home from school early, and that's when it happened.
He got a gun out of our closet. It was one that I taught him to shoot.
Ty's mother came home that day to find her son dead, and she called Kirk.
She was just screaming. I couldn't understand anything that she was trying to say. She just screamed, and she managed to say he's dead. He shot himself.
Kirk says his family's life will never be the same, and he's made it his mission to change others.
I'm here to tell you about what happened to Ty, and I'm hoping that by doing that, you guys can help me make sure that this doesn't ever happen again to another kid.
Smalley tours schools all over the globe, spreading the anti-bullying message. 2 News went along on his visit to Milburn schools in southeast Oklahoma. Smalley gets emotional during each school visit. He says during each presentation, he relives the day his son died. But he says it's worth it if his message is heard.
So I know that it makes a difference. I know it's impactful to him.
He says since he started his Stand Up for the Silent campaign, he's received numerous messages and emails.
I've got a folder in one of my emails accounts that's labeled suicide messages. Kids that have said, I was going to kill myself until I heard you speak. And it's full of thousands of those messages. We get messages from bullies that say, I never realized that what I was doing could cause this.
Students at Milburn say the program is something they will not soon forget.
He's an amazing person to stand up and go to all these places and talk, and he just has such a passion for it, and you can feel the passion when he speaks, and I just loved it.
In our world, every 7 seconds, a child is being bullied.
You can even see it on their faces while they watch the presentation.
I was not expecting such an emotional story. I knew it was emotional, but I cried through the entire thing.
You believe that you are somebody?
Yeah! This is a mission Kirk Smalley takes seriously, a promise to his son he intends to keep.
I promised him that I was going to stop bullying in this world. And I don't break promises to my kid.
A promise born out of Ty's final action. His parents will never forget what drove Ty to take his own life, and Kirk Smalley hopes his work will make a difference so other kids won't suffer the same fate. Brianne Palmerini, 2 News Works for You.
Brianne, thanks. A Green Country family says they are dealing right now with a severe case of bullying, and they're taking action. A Nowata family says they talked to the school district about issues with their son, but say they didn't get results. Now they're taking the matter to court. 2 News anchor Justin Wilfon has more on a federal lawsuit filed against Nowata schools.
Go ahead and read here.
For 12-year-old Seth Sutherland, this is now his classroom. His family says the trouble in school started last year.
And he started telling me school was like hell. He felt like I was sending him into a hellhole every day.
Jennifer Sutherland says her son is a victim of bullying. She says her son, who has Asperger's syndrome, used to be an outgoing, happy child. Now she says he's a completely different child.
It is like he has been broken. Sorry, excuse me. His first reaction, is to draw into himself.
Jennifer says it started with kids shoving, hitting, and kicking her son. She says he was also called names. Jennifer says all this left her son frustrated, angry, and depressed.
He wanted to kill himself. He felt like nobody loved him. He felt like nobody cared about him because this kept going on and nobody would stop it.
Jennifer says she had many conversations with the school, but those conversations went nowhere. She says she tried to have her child transferred to 3 other school districts. All requests were denied. As a last resort, her family filed a federal lawsuit against the school district. An attorney for the district says the district is disadvantaged from responding because of state and federal privacy laws. As for Jennifer and her family, they are just taking it day by day and pray they get results in court.
We had to be able to get justice for our son, to show him that, this is important and what happened to him isn't right, and that it needed to be stopped.
Justin Wilfon reporting. Now, in the lawsuit, the Sutherland family is seeking actual and punitive damages. I do want to remind you our phone bank is up and running. Members of the anti-bullying collaboration here in Tulsa are answering the phones. Crisis counselors and experts are on hand to help. The number to call, 918-748-1432. They have a website also that you can check out. It's called preventbullyingtulsa.org. Now, we know that bullying is taking place, and tonight, from one victim's story, we learned the effects of bullying can be felt for a lifetime.
The truth is, I am overweight. You could call me fat, and yes, even obese.
She is the Wisconsin news anchor who reignited the conversation about what's acceptable, and she put bullying front and center.
If you are at home and you are talking about the fat news lady, guess what? Your children are probably going to go to school and call someone fat.
Truth be told, at television stations across the country, there are reporters and anchors with countless stories of receiving hateful emails, even here in Tulsa and at Channel 2. But we also have a reporter whose story of bullying started long before her time in TV.
If you want the city to take away that
2 News viewers know Michelle Lowry as part of the Problem Solvers team. She will tell you her red hair makes her stand out. And while that may be a good thing on TV, she says it's not always been the case.
I felt the shift in probably 4th or 5th grade when I realized there was a group of girls that really didn't like me, and I didn't have any reason, why.
Freckled-faced and red hair, some would say she looked like the all-American kid. Michelle will tell you she got anything but the all-American treatment.
They started just circling around me, and I was very afraid because I didn't know what they were going to do.
She says at times she was teased, shoved, and even assaulted.
2 of them actually pulled the shirt that I was wearing off and ran into the bathroom and put it in the toilet. And I went in and got it out of the toilet and rinsed it out as best I could and wore it for the rest of the day. I was, in tears and completely humiliated.
Michelle says she never knew why she was picked on. Perhaps it was only because she stood out and was different. The pain stays with her still today.
I know there are kids out there right now that are hurting, and I remember it. It's still fresh, more than 30 years later. And I just wish I could get through to any bully that you're not making your life better. You're hurting someone else and you're hurting yourself.
When you're joking with your friends, is that bullying? I don't think so, but you don't ever really know how that person receives it.
To find out more about bullying with today's kids, we met with a church youth group full of high school students from various schools in the Tulsa metro. All say bullying is a problem. Most admit they too are likely guilty of bullying at one time or another.
I mean, I see bullying every day. I mean, I partake in it sometimes, and it's just really easy to fall into.
Some couldn't say if their school even had a bullying program. Others say they've not been very effective.
Everyone turns it into a joke, so obviously it's not taken very seriously, and it should be.
Some of the takeaways: boys thought bullying was worse for boys, girls thought it was worse for them. And when it comes to cyberbullying and social media, such as Twitter, the boys and girls disagreed.
I never really see negative tweets towards people or anything like that. So I feel like the social media thing isn't as big of a problem as like personal face-to-face.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah, I think because I think kids are more confident when you're not face-to-face with someone, and you're more likely to say things you don't necessarily mean or you wouldn't say face-to-face.
But can bullying be prevented, or is it inevitable?
I think it's human nature just to try to put yourself up against other people, but I think over time it can be changed to where you see everyone as an equal.
When you look at something like racism, like that's changed dramatically within the past 50, 40 years. So I feel like it'll still be out there, but we can douse it and it'll change over time to where it's not such as big a deal as it is now.
Yeah, middle school, the worst 3 years of my life.
Michelle hopes and prays progress will be made because she still remembers the fear she felt growing up.
It's just over time, and you're always wondering, is it going to happen today? Is it going to be worse today? What are they going to do today? And that fear is half of the damage that bullies do.
Now, some of the signs that your child may be a victim: they seem distant, depressed, maybe their grades are slipping. There is help available. We have lots of information on our webpage. Check out kjrh.com/bullying. Also, lots of resources there as well. And included in that is where you can report bullying. Getting kids' attention. How this display helps engage kids in the conversation to stop bullying. Plus,
Teenage girls are worse than wild animals. Wild animals can maul you and rip you apart, but teenage girls do that to the inside of you.
Survivor's story: how a tormented teen almost took her life and how she's coping today. When it comes to bullies, teenage girls may top the list of offenders. They're doing it some through social media, but at least one judge says beware. Social media leaves an electronic trail of proof. 2 News reporter Sarah Goldenberg has more on bullying in schools and how some are challenging their bullies in a whole new way.
This is an example of what extreme bullying can lead to.
I got a really long white one. That was a bad one. It was really, really deep.
Meet Jana Pike. She's a 7th grader at Hale Junior High School in Tulsa. At just 14 years old, she says she's already tried to kill herself a number of times.
All these thoughts that people are saying about me, everything they're saying, I'm nothing but, I'm just useless, I'm ugly, I'm stupid. No one would care if I was here or not.
Jana says she has been bullied for the past year. She says she started cutting herself to get through the pain.
They're kind of like battle scars. That's as best as I can put it.
After counseling and the help of friends and family, she's back at school, but she says the bullies haven't gone away.
And it does get hard when it's basically the whole school. But I mean, I can't let it get to me.
Jana thinks the worst bullies are teenage girls, known for starting rumors more than physically beating up their victims.
Teenage girls are worse than wild animals. Wild animals can maul you and rip you apart, but teenage girls do that to the inside of you.
As Jana continues her struggle against bullying in Tulsa, a judge here in Bartlesville has noticed an interesting trend. He's seeing more and more teenage girls take their fight against bullying to court. In Washington County, Associate District Judge Russell Vaclaw says parents are getting involved and filing protective orders against their child's bully.
In schools, it's called bullying. In court of law, it's harassment.
He says social media has changed the game. Bullies are leaving behind trails of evidence online.
The statements that were being made, they were hostile, they were vulgar, they were profane, and I was shocked to see some of the things that I was seeing just on Facebook alone.
Even if the posts were deleted, some victims had already saved them, printed them out, and taken them to court.
I don't think the kids knew that what they were doing had legal consequences. I don't think they realized that, one, they may be committing a crime, and two, they may be committing conduct that is worthy of a protective order.
So Judge Vaclaw is working on changing that in Bartlesville. He speaks to students at high schools and middle schools, teaching them that bullying can be a crime.
And I don't think they realized that, and when they were told that, there were a lot of people shuffling in their seats, and I hope from embarrassment and from shame.
If a bully violates a protective order, they could face a misdemeanor charge and even jail time. Vaclaw says his school visits seem to be working.
It is still going to happen, but it is actually decreased here in Washington County just from going to the schools and explaining what the consequences of their actions are.
Back in Tulsa, Jana says she isn't considering getting a protective order against her bullies yet, but she thinks it's a good idea for some students.
I mean, it can break somebody down to the point of wanting to commit suicide, like me. It can get somebody in the position where they're broken and they can't be fixed.
I'd give my life for her.
Aww.
Her sister Jessica is even taking action.
She went into the bathroom, she took out anything sharp, she took all the medicine and gave it to Grandma. So I can't hurt myself now.
Jessica is trying to show Jana she's hurting more than herself.
When you cry, I cry. You know that.
Two sisters working hard to get through each day and rise above the bullies.
No matter what, you have to find something to keep you going, because, I mean, you can't give up.
Sarah Goldenberg, 2 News, works for you.
Sarah, thanks. Oklahoma has laws on the books to help battle bullying, but some say more needs to be done. Some schools are going above and beyond to try to reach kids. 2 News reporter Michelle Lowry takes us inside the classroom.
I can't hear you!
Mark Sherwood has a way of getting kids' attention. Sherwood is a 24-year Tulsa police veteran and president of 4E Fitness. As a father, he understands the seriousness of bullying in schools. So brings his anti-bullying, anti-violence, anti-suicide message to students across Green Country.
Everything you say and do, you can't redo again. So choose what you do wisely. Watch what you say to other people.
On this day, Sherwood is at the Union Alternative School. It's part of Union Public Schools' effort to bring anti-bullying education to students. And its subject matter, some of the kids already know too well.
I felt like I could relate to that because I actually had to witness my friend kill himself. And there was really nothing I could do because he was so hurt by things that people would say. He was picked on, and I wasn't there enough for him, and it really did hurt me.
Some people can take like harsh, like just jokes and everything, and some people just they take them to heart and it hurts them.
Sherwood wants the kids to know bullying is never acceptable and there is help out there.
Because I asked you earlier if anybody had anybody say something to them that have hurt them and have made them sink low, and many, many hands went up. Man, that's the truth. Well, I can tell you something today. Don't listen to them. Listen to what I'm saying to you. I really care about you. I really do.
From that message from a strong man here at this Union School to Skiatook, where a paper chain of good deeds is strong enough to break down bullying.
Students wrote notes about random acts of kindness. They're formed into a chain with the goal of wrapping the entire school in a chain of kindness.
Invited kids to my table more often, said hi and everything like that. It's mind-blowing that we can actually do it.
It's helping everybody with the way they're bullying people, helping them stop, and kind of changing everybody's lives.
These students at Skiatook's Newman Middle School are meeting Rachel's Challenge, a project in memory of Rachel Scott, the first of 13 victims in the Columbine High School massacre.
I know for a fact that people are being bullied, and they always have been. And I know how it feels to be bullied, and it's not a good feeling.
Life skills teacher Kelly Phillips launched anti-bullying efforts last year to set off a chain reaction of kindness, and it's exploding.
I feel like it's making a difference just because it's like the buzzword around here the whole month.
If you be kind to someone else, then your friends might start coming in and start being kind to other people. And it just keeps on going and going until it's just a nonstop process, until the whole world is just nice to each other.
Look at this, and you'll believe it is possible. Newman Middle School students lock their school up in a chain reaction of their own kindness. A link joins a link. One good deed sparks another. And whether it's a small link or a big feat of strength, schools have programs to help kids understand their actions can make a world of difference. Michelle Lowry, 2 News works for you.
Michelle, thanks. It is estimated that 1 in 4 students will be a victim of bullying by the time they graduate high school. Most won't say a word out of fear. 2 News reporter Brandon Richards shows us 2 online resources that can help.
Bullying is a human behavior that's roamed the hallways of schools for as long as schools have existed.
Organizations that are part of this.
But Steve Hahn with the Parent-Child Center of Tulsa says bullying has gotten worse.
If we were bullied when we were in school, we could go home. We could go home, we could tell our parents, or not. But we were home and it was safe. And we didn't have to deal with that kid or those group of kids until the very next day.
However, today, there's no escape.
Now they're dealing with it through text message, through Facebook, through Twitter. It's a new era.
Which is why the Parent-Child Center of Tulsa partnered with other agencies to create a new website.
PreventBullyingTulsa.org really serves as a hub of information. Anyone can access the website, students, teachers, parents, to find out more information about bullying, how to prevent it, how to intervene in the situation.
The site includes a link to Tulsa Public Schools' online program called TIPS. TIPS stands for Threat Assessment, Incident Management, and Prevention Services. It's designed to solve a problem plaguing schools across the nation.
We've pretty much got an idea of what we need to do for strategies and what we need to teach the students. But the problem is trying to find a way for students to communicate to us in a way that they feel safe.
With a few simple clicks, TIPS allows students, parents, teachers, anyone to report suspected cases of school bullying.
So through an anonymous reporting system now, students can talk about if they're being harassed or if they witnessed harassment.
The reports are sent to school officials to investigate. Rick Shaw developed the program, basing it off similar programs he created for banks, governments, and universities. The programs help these organizations identify problems that would otherwise go unnoticed.
We've gone through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of events studying and finding out that these incidents occurred. They had laws and everything else in place. They just didn't have the tools to connect the dots. I'm really impressed with Oklahoma taking the lead on this, especially Tulsa, because they're really taking the lead and other schools are very interested. It's a big problem.
A problem Steve says won't get better unless more people get involved.
What we're looking to do is empower people. We're looking to empower students, we're looking to empower parents, we're looking to empower educators.
Empower them enough and to hope that one day bullying becomes a human behavior expelled from schools forever. Brandon Richard, 2 News works for you.
Brandon, thanks. Our crisis counselors and experts are on hand to help in our phone bank, 918-748-1432. We'll be back with how you can help make a difference. Steve Hahn from the Tulsa Anti-Bullying Collaboration joins us now. I know you want to talk a little bit about the difference between bullying and conflict, because there's a big difference here.
Absolutely. Bully includes an imbalance of power. It's repetitive in nature, and the bully has a chance and a time to choose the victim and location. Conflict, there is no imbalance of power. Sometimes a fight is just a fight between students.
Now, real quickly, I know legislation was proposed last year. It didn't pass. There may be another effort this year?
Absolutely. We're really looking for support for new legislative efforts in Tulsa and Oklahoma as well right now.
We'll continue to watch that. Steve, thank you very much. And as we wrap up, I want to remind you that this is not the ending by any means. This is just the beginning. There's lots of things that you can do to help make a difference. First off, take a pledge not to bully. You can do that through our website, kjrh.com/bully. Also, talk to your kids about how to treat others, and you can meet with your teachers and parents, ask them what kind of bullying, anti-bullying programs they have as well. We know that kids' lives are at risk, but if we take a stand against bullying, we can make a difference. I'm Russ McCaskey. Thanks for being with us.